So I forgot how bad the Heat is, man. Like I was like, okay, I'll just acclimate to it. Nope.
Not getting any better either, dude.
It's worse this week than last week.
I know.
Like, Jesus, like 108, right? It's 6 p.m. It's 108 degrees. It's ridiculous.
The football game tomorrow night. I
Oh
don't know.
my
Are
God.
you going?
No, I think I have class when it's happening. What
Oh,
time
really?
is it? Does it start?
It's probably at like 7-ish, I think.
If it's at 7, then yeah, I guess I have a class until 7:15. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah, dude, I don't think I'm gonna stay long at all, dude. It's gonna be so hot.
Yeah, I went to one game last year. It's like the first one against like Southern Utah or somebody.
Yeah.
And then I left like halfway through the second quarter. Like I don't even think I made it to halftime.
Dude, I understand. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the weather, it doesn't get under 105 till next Friday, and that's it's at 101. It's like it's today was 110, yesterday was 110, tomorrow's 107, then this Friday is 105,
Yeah.
and then it's 109 until Wednesday after that. This is unreal. It's
It's
ridiculous. This does not
I know.
like hold on. I need to share the link. But share. It's insane. I don't remember when this when the heat dies down, but I can't wait until that happens. Because then I can like go places.
I'm praying it's like October, but I feel like it'll be like November.
Do you think it's gonna go all the way until then? Like,
I mean, not like this heat, but like,
oh
I don't
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah.
It might be like 90 in October still, maybe.
Yeah, the 90s is fine compared to this. That's
Yeah, no, it's bearable.
somehow like 20 degrees cooler than what it's now. But it's just like, oh my God. It's almost unbearable to be outside. Um, okay, I guess we should start. Welcome back to another episode of The Sideline. My name is Rishioza,
My name's Asher Hire.
and we are just going to talk about the Broncos. We might just talk bigger cuts that happened around the league, bigger acquisitions around the league. We're going to try and keep it as Broncos focused as possible. It has been a bit. I think we talked before the Bills game, which was really tough. It was a bad game all around. And they
Yeah.
responded with a good week against the Vikings. And then obviously final roster cuts over the last couple of days. There were some surprising ones for the Broncos for sure. What did you think about the cuts? What do you think about this? Your
Well,
first impression of the final roster?
the punter one
Yeah.
unexpectedly kind of took me by surprise because I really didn't even know about like Corliss Waitman until like I just like saw him at practice when I went against the Cowboys, and I'm like, oh, we have a backup punter, I guess. But I guess now he just won the starting job over Sam Martin. It was looking like Sam Martin and the Broncos had like money issues and they cut him. That's I guess what the report was at first, and then it switched to no, Corliss Waitman actually beat Sam Martin out for the job, and yeah, we don't need Sam Martin anymore. But I mean, that was the most surprising. I know it's just the punter spot, so it's not too important, but I mean, it sucks to see Kendall Hinton go, but it's a crowded wide receiver room with decent young talent, especially with guys like Jalen Virgil, who made the cut, made the roster,
Yep.
undrafted rookie, making it 18 out of the last 19 years that an undrafted rookie has made the Broncos in his rookie year. And then who else? Oh, Brandon Johnson. That's what I was thinking of, but he got placed in the IR, so he's still with the team. But he was another one killing it in the preseason.
Yep.
And then, probably actually the most surprising. I wouldn't say surprising, but the biggest name leaving the Broncos in a trade though was Malik Reed.
Yes.
And that kind of opens the door for Nick Benito and Baron Browning to rush and Jonathan Cooper, but those guys need to stay healthy because there's
Yeah,
not too much depth. There's like four, there's a starter and a backup, and like that's it at each
yeah,
edge spot.
yeah. Malik Reed, they just wanted to get because he probably wasn't going to resign. Some more starter reps. He just wasn't going to get that in Denver with Chubb and Gregory off the edge. But yeah, I mean, he has been the most consistent pass rusher for the Broncos over the last 3 seasons at least. But that obviously that is because Chubb was hurt, Von Miller's been hurt. The guys behind them have been hurt. Like Denver last year got obliterated by injuries, even the year before that too. So that is the depth is still a little concerning. But yeah, Malik Reed definitely the biggest name to go. I was surprised Kendall Hinton got cut. Surprised Seth Williams got. I thought that the final 6-ish for the receiver would have been. I think the 4 locks obviously were Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, then Montrell Washington. He played really really well. I don't think there was any doubt he wasn't going to make it because of his return ability. But even as a receiver, I thought he played well. And I thought the last 2 spots were going to go to Hinton and then one of Seth Williams, Brandon Johnson, or Jalen Virgil. I thought Virgil would have been like the least likely to get it. I thought Brandon Johnson kind of had the inside track on it. I thought Seth Williams played better than Virgil in the preseason, but so we'll see. I think Seth might be on the practice squad. I know Hinton is. Hinton signed to the practice squad. But Brandon Johnson or Seth Williams is still like weighing his options. But yeah, that wide receiver room, even without Tim Patrick, is very, very, very crowded. That's a good thing to me. That's a very good thing. So it's a very good problem to have.
Yeah.
And if you're able to keep 2 of those guys on the practice squad with Hinton and then maybe Brandon Johnson once he's off of IR. So we'll see. I think I like position though. I like the wide receiver position.
Yeah. McTelvin Ajim also got re-signed in the practice squad, and so did Natani Muti, which I think those are 2 good. They're not like re-signings, but 2 good guys to keep around, because they're young. And McTelvin Ajim had like a great last preseason game, with 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, but I think his run defense is a little rough. And that's mostly why he got cut. He's just not really big enough of a body to play, that D tackle spot he plays, I think. And then Natani Muti, just like, I think just too many injuries.
Yeah, the health
kind of got pushed out. But I'm glad he's back with the practice squad because they still are young and they have some potential.
Yeah, Muti, like I remember when they drafted him, he was hurt. And you just like knew that he was a freak athlete.
Yeah.
And then he played well his rookie season. Last year he kind of got in, kind of didn't, but once again was hurt a decent chunk of the year. And he started the season hurt. I don't think he played a game in the preseason because he was injured. But yeah, I mean he has the potential, and that's exactly what you have the practice squad for. So we'll see. We'll see if he's able to turn up. Telvin Ajim, I was surprised. I thought he had a good preseason in camp overall, not just that last game. I thought that last game might have been like, okay, he's a lock to make it because of how well he played. But I think they definitely understand the need for the run defense because even against Minnesota, like it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like, it was better than it was against Buffalo. Buffalo was awful. It was like 9 yards a carry for the entire team. And it was better against Minnesota, but it still wasn't starters. But those depth pieces still have to look good. And in run defense throughout the entire preseason, they really haven't. So I do think that they understand the need for that, and they definitely move up on that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like getting more and more kind of concerned with the Broncos. Just like my kind of opinion on how the team will go. Not necessarily because of the preseason, but I just feel like there are like holes on this team that are not really getting talked about. As you said, that run defense without DJ Jones, there's nobody to plug up a hole other than Mike Purcell, but he's hurt and he's always hurt. But I mean, I think that's an issue. I think the health on the edges are an issue with little depth there. I think the linebackers are an issue too. I mean, like Josie Jewell, Jonas Griffith, Griffith hurt, of course, for the first couple weeks, but I mean that's not a good, off the ball linebacking group at all whatsoever. The secondary I think is really tremendous, but I mean it's the first year head coach also. Uh, you know, young tight end, a decent O line, but not a great O line.
Yeah.
Wide receivers where you're hoping they'll be good, but you still don't really even know. You don't know if Sutton, we're projecting him to be this beast after 2 years removed off the ACL, but that's still projection. Jerry Jeudy is all projection pretty much. He hasn't had a good season in his career, but I guess people think he'll be great. He has a potential, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then Alberto question mark at tight end. So I mean, I don't know, you can look at it two different ways where like the wide receiver group is exciting, running back group is good, the O line is not bad, the secondary is phenomenal. Like you can look at it that way, but I just feel like, especially in the trenches and experience wise, it's kind of concerning. I don't know if your thoughts have changed.
No, I 100% agree with that. The experience thing is something that popped out to me. I mean, last year the Broncos were one of the oldest teams in the league, and this year their average age is like 27. They don't have a single player over.
I think it's 25.9. I saw
It's 20. Oh, it's 26. Yeah, I player over the age of 30.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the starting defense, if I'm not mistaken. Like they are super young, and the offense as well. Outside of Russell Wilson, they don't really have that many old players out there. Even the depth pieces are super young, especially on the offensive line. Look at guys like Calvin Anderson, he's still young. Quinn Miners, he's still young. Luke Wattenberg, who they drafted this year, he's obviously young. Like they have all of these super young pieces on the offense. So that experience, I think, is definitely going to play in. And those holes, like I think we all were just kind of in Russell Wilson. Yes, we have a roster that's ready to compete. And yes, I think it's ready to compete. I just don't know if it's ready to Super Bowl yet. And I think if they get in a groove, they have the potential to do that. But I still think that the roster has some pieces that need to be filled out before Super Bowl or even one seed can be talked about, because we still need some depth pieces out there, and that I think that's just the biggest issue on the team right now.
No, I'm really not even thinking about the one seed really whatsoever. It's more just
wild card.
It's more playoffs. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs really.
Yeah.
I think the AFC West.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how tough it is, and with a team this inexperienced, I don't know if it's a playoff team yet.
Yeah, I think they'll have a winning record, and I think they're able to stay healthy. I think they're a playoff team, but I don't know how much the health is going to play into it. If they get a couple injuries at key positions like they have had the last couple of seasons, the season could go south very, very fast. Obviously if Russell Wilson goes down, we're screwed. But if you get injuries to the wide receiver position again, right? Like Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler were out for majority of the season last year, and you really saw the impact that had, even though you had your 1 and 2 receivers still there, Cronstead and Tim Patrick. If you lose Jerry Jeudy for a chunk of time, or if KJ Hamler goes down for a chunk of time, or if Sutton goes down for a chunk of time, you're going to see the impact that the depth has. And I think the same thing with the defensive line. If Chubb still can't stay healthy, if Randy Gregory still can't stay healthy, that pass rush is almost non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with the linebackers. I like you said, secondary is phenomenal. I think the secondary group is by far the best position on the team, and they're going to have to carry the defense, because I honestly don't see the run defense being in the top half of the league, because they just don't have the size to compete outside of DJ Jones.
Yeah, I feel like the people hyping up the Broncos and stuff is thinking that everything that can go right will go right, but that just doesn't happen. As I said about the receivers, only one of them has had one solid year, and that's Sutton, and that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Everyone else has not produced at an NFL level yet, but there is obviously great potential, but most of the times players don't really like a mass amount of players don't hit their potential at like the same exact time. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, another year of experience, get that depth up. Obviously, only George Payton's like second year and done a tremendous job. And I think when he can get the depth, he really on both sides of the ball, like
Yeah.
that this team will be good. But I think it's 1 or 2 years away from guaranteed playoff position.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the goal right now should be wild card. I don't think
Mhm.
Broncos fans should be expecting anything else. Obviously, the team is like win the division, like that's their goal, and obviously that should be their goal. Their goal should be Super Bowl. But I think as Broncos fans, you maybe temper the expectations down a little bit. I like to me, it's always just been 5 seed. Like aim, like if you get the 5 seed, that's good enough because I think I think you're going to be able to win a playoff game if you are the 5 seed because the 4 seed's probably going to be like Indianapolis or something.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think that it's going to be Indianapolis or Tennessee. I think maybe whoever wins the AFC South is going to be the 4 seed. Uh, and I think Denver could easily do that. But like, if you have a stretch where you suck, like Denver did last year, you start 3-0 and then you end up 3-4. Like if you have a stretch like that, you're not going to make the playoffs because
Yeah.
every other team, the West is good, but in the AFC in general is good. There's only about like 3 or 4 teams that aren't going to be seriously competing uh,
Mhm.
in the AFC. Like you look at the Jets, I don't think they're going to be competing. But every other team in the AFC East is going to be. Miami's going to be good. Buffalo obviously going to be good. New England, I don't think they'll be as good as they were last year, but they're still going to be good. They're going to be competitive. Every team in the AFC North is going to be competitive. The AFC South, it's the Jags and the Texans are going to suck. The
Yeah.
Titans, I think, are still going to. Colts are going to be good, and every team in the AFC West is going to be good. So like,
Mhm.
there's not that many teams that are going to be like, okay, it's an easy win. And
Yeah.
the Broncos schedule gets really, really hard in the second half. Like immediately after the bye week, there's a 7-game stretch where it's just like toss up after toss up after toss
Right.
up.
Right.
Denver cannot afford to one be unhealthy or two just have a rough stretch of games because they're not going to make the postseason if that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And I just feel like kind of this team is similar to the Seahawks team last year, uh, who went like 6-11 or something, 6-8 with Russell Wilson. But you got the two receivers, kind of same thing with the Broncos. Young running back or whatever. Defense, is questionable. I obviously think that this Broncos defense is like a lot better than the Seahawks defense,
Yeah.
but is it 4 games better? Like, is this a 10-7? He went 6-8, like, is he 10-4 with this roster? I don't think so. I don't know. But
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard. It's good. This like I'm just gonna look through the Broncos schedule because it's just ridiculous how many. So one sec. It's so
there's
ridiculous
just
how many games you do that Denver has a chance to lose.
so many AFC teams this year are so good. Like, that's everyone's schedule is so hard.
Yeah. So they start off pretty easy. Seahawks, Texans. Obviously, you should go 2-0. But then you go Sunday night game against the 49ers. That's going to be tough because Trey Lance, we don't know how, but even if he's bad, their defense is still elite.
Yeah.
Then you go on the road against the Raiders. That's going to be a tough one. At home against the Colts on Thursday night. That's going to be a tough one. And then on the road against the Chargers Monday night. That's going to be a tough one. At home against the Jets should be a win. On the road against the Jags should be a win. That's your like Seahawks, Texans, Jets, Jags. Those are your only 4 gimme games the entire season. Every other team you play is good. And maybe the Panthers. I think the Panthers will be okay this season. Then after the Jaguars, on the road against the Titans, at home against the Raiders, on the road against the Ravens, and then these last 5 games are just
I know.
and even with the Ravens, counting the Ravens game, you go Ravens, Chiefs, Cardinals, Rams, Chiefs, Chargers. Like I would like
Yeah,
they're not gonna go 0-6, but like if they go 0-6, you'd be like, oh, I mean, yeah, of course they went 0-6. Look at the teams they're playing. Like it's gonna be it's tough.
I know. But that's a long ways out. You know, the Cardinals
Yeah.
could be terrible. Some guy could be injured. Patrick Mahomes could have torn his ACL or something
Yeah.
by that time. But yeah, I mean, looking at it on paper, like that is such a tough stretch of games there. And like, you know, those gimme games, you could even lose one of them if the Jaguars are like on fire at some point or something.
Yeah.
You
Just
know,
have a
if
bad
Trevor
just have
Lawrence
a
is
bad
great
game.
next year. Yeah.
That's all it takes. Just a bad quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes. It's gonna be a this is gonna be a very like it's gonna be a fun season because I think Denver's gonna be at the very least more competitive than they were last season. But like there's gonna be games that they lose, and if they don't make the playoffs, you're gonna look back and be like, man, like they should have won that game. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just because of the depth, of the defense, or injuries, or something is gonna go wrong, and it's gonna have an effect. But I don't know. It's very pessimistic episode so far.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I guess I'll pivot to something a little more cheerful. I listed some standout players from the last few games, and just looking at it, there are literally two players on this list who actually made the team. Who made um,
Let's hear it.
so Baron Browning, obviously, I mean, he had a return touchdown. He had a sack, I think. He played really well.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Benito had a good bounce back game after a couple duds. J.R. Reed got cut, but I thought he played really well against
Yeah,
Minnesota.
I thought he played well the entire preseason.
Yeah, I was surprised that he's not even on the practice squad either.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised that he got cut. Awuzaruki, I don't know how to say his first name. Amari something.
It's Ioma, I think. Ioma.
Ioma Awuzaruki. I'll get that name right, hopefully.
Wazarike, maybe?
Wazarike. I don't know. I think it might be Wazarike. That guy. He played really well. Rookie from Iowa State. He played really, really well in the last game. He is a big run stuffer, so hopefully he's able to contribute immediately because Denver's definitely going to need that. I thought obviously McTelvin and Jean, we talked about him. He played really well. Seth Williams played really well. He got cut. I don't remember this guy's first name, but Mauga, he popped on the screen, and I don't remember seeing him the first two. But he popped on the screen the last game, and he got a practice squad. Jaquan Hardy, I thought played well, but he got cut, and I don't think he's on the practice squad. And then Devine Zigbo, he played well, and he got a practice squad spot. But those are my kind of just like standout players that I saw. But yeah, I don't know.
That makes I only saw like a couple highlights, but that does make sense because I've seen stuff about Wazarike playing well.
Yeah.
And those guys that you listed playing well. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Baron Browning had that like strip. It wasn't like a sack, but he just like kind of swatted the ball out and then recovered it and ran it in for a touchdown. He's been so good this preseason. Coming off the edge this time, he was more of like a middle off the ball linebacker last year, right? Or was that 2 years ago?
Last year, yeah.
This last year, yeah. I keep getting it mixed up because he played edge at Ohio State his final year, played middle linebacker last year. Now he's back at edge.
Yeah. But correctly, before he was still playing middle linebacker and off ball, right?
Yeah, he switched to edge his senior year or whatever his last year.
Yeah, and then he switched back to
to
that middle. But I hopefully he finds a spot. Honestly, he looks better at edge than he did at middle linebacker, and that's saying something because he looked phenomenal at middle linebacker last year. But he's a guy who he's going to be huge because there's going to be games that Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb miss. Right. He's going to be starting. So it's going to be big for him to get those opportunities. But yeah, he looks really good. I think that really says stuff about football IQ because he didn't do training camp or preseason last season, and he stepped in a starting role and was the
Yeah.
play caller and immediately succeeded, immediately played really well. And now, goes through OTAs and everything as an edge, but picking that up after a full season of playing middle linebacker and playing as well as he has, it just speaks to his brain and just how smart he is and how quick of a learner he is. So another draft pick that George Payton seems to have knocked out of the park.
Yeah. We want to kind of talk about national news. I think the biggest cut of the day, name-wise, was probably Kellen Mond or Alex Leatherwood. But
Alex Leatherwood was the one I was going to say.
yeah, both pretty surprising. I thought the Mond one was more surprising than the Leatherwood one, but really wasn't expecting both of them to get cut.
Yeah.
I mean, Mond had a pretty terrible preseason. He did make some like good looking throws though, and he was definitely kind of a fan favorite in the draft, like regarding that people thought he should have gone higher, kind of the consensus public opinion. But yeah, it hasn't really produced in both of the preseasons he's been at. I think he's struggled in practice too, so he gets cut, but he does land with the Browns, and I think that's a good and exciting move because he'll definitely probably have a chance to play with them.
Yeah, because the Browns just cut Josh Rosen, so I'm pretty sure he's the backup right now. Like he's on the 53 as the backup quarterback behind Jacoby Brissett. So if they're in a blowout or Jacoby Brissett stinks it up, Kellen Mond is going to have an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Alex Leatherwood one was surprising to me because like I know he wasn't good last year and obviously wasn't good in the preseason if he got cut, but like he's a first round. Like he had to like I know they reached to grab him in the first round anyway, but like there has to be something there. Like there's no way that you just cut a first rounder like that if he wasn't just completely awful. And he did Chicago, I believe. But I don't know. To me, that's just like that's crazy that he got cut as a first rounder. Like that's just like the last 2 years of drafting by the Oakland or the Vegas Raiders is just awful. I mean, they don't have a single player left from their 2020 class. All of them are cut. And I think they only have like 2 from their 2021 class who are still on the roster. After 2 years, they have 2 players from like 15 picks. I think that's ridiculous.
Both really aren't who were the 2? It was Trayvon Mayrig, who had a pretty bad rookie season, and then someone else.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all of their first round and early round picks are just unimpressive. Like literally every single one of them for the past like 5 years.
Yeah, like it's really bad. Oh my god, that was not the right thing to look up. I'm just looking up the Raiders' last 2 drafts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going on their draft history. So this year they drafted guys. I don't think any of them are really going to play immediately. But last year,
Wait, they drafted who? You cut out. Sorry.
Oh, this year they drafted just a couple. They had picks, but they're not using them, or they're not going to play immediately. But Trayvon Mooring, didn't he get traded?
Did he?
Trayvon Mullen, that's who got traded.
Oh yeah, no, Mayrig,
Trayvon,
whatever. He's still with the Raiders.
Trayvon Mullen got traded. He got traded to the Cardinals. But once again, another young player that the Raiders had that they gave up. But 2021 last year, Leatherwood gone. Mooring still. Kuntz, I think, is still there. Devine Diablo, Tyree Gillespie, who I don't think is there. Nate Hobbs, Jimmy Morrissey, who I don't think is there anymore. So I think that's 3 out of 6, 3 out of 7. And then their 2020 draft is just disgusting.
Wait, didn't this guy, Dylan Parham, he was with the Broncos, wasn't he?
I think there's another guy named Dylan Parham because there is a Dylan Parham on the Broncos practice squad.
Dude, are there really 3
Parhams?
Yeah. Well, there's a Donald, right? That's the tight end.
Yeah, there's a tight end. Is the Broncos one also Dylan Parham, or is it?
Yeah, so there's an NC State tight end, Dylan Parham, and then isn't the Chargers?
Chargers have a tight end with Parham as well.
That's Donald Parham, and then there's this Dylan Parham. Okay, so I'm like, wait, did the Raiders really cut their like third round pick from this year, and the Broncos cut him again? Like, but yeah, you keep going.
No, their third year, or their 2020 draft class, awful. Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett, both in jail, I'm pretty sure. Those are 2 first-round picks. Lynn Bowden, not on the team. I don't think he's in the NFL. I don't think he's on a team right now. I think he got cut. Brian Edwards is in Atlanta. Tanner Muse, not sure. John Simpson, I think, is still on the team. And then Amik Robinson, he's not there. But that's their 4th. They didn't have 5th, 6th, or 7th round picks. Those are top 4 rounds.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, those are people who you would expect to contribute day 1. And they have like 2 still on the team. It's unbelievable how bad and John Gruden regime was at picking out talent. Like, that is you almost have to try to be that bad. Like, that's unbelievable.
Them and the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, yeah. Oh my God. We talked about the Seahawks too. Like, I think at some point over the summer, like, man, they sucked.
I know.
Man, they were not able to build anything around it.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I have confidence. Like, I still have confidence in the Broncos to be able to build around Russell Wilson. Because, like you said, it's like, oh, he was 6-8 last year. Is Denver 4 games better? One, the offense is just way better. But also, like, Denver has been able to build around the quarterback, every position around the quarterback, and develop very well. And Seattle has not. Like, since they won the Super Bowl, they really have not been able to bring in really good new talent outside of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Like,
right.
So hopefully Broncos are able to do that.
Yeah.
Sony Michel was another one that I was surprised. He signed with the Chargers today. But he was another big one who got cut. Gerard got cut from the Lions.
Jerome who?
Gerard Davis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He got cut.
CJ Gardner-Johnson got traded.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I mean, that's a good move for the Eagles.
Yeah. The Eagles have had a very good offseason.
Yeah.
They've had a really
Drake got cut.
Who did?
Kenyon Drake.
Oh yeah, then he signed with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happened over the last couple of days. So if we missed something, please excuse
Jalen Reagor traded.
Reagor got traded today, to the Vikings. So now they have both Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor after the video came out about that. Denzel Mims might get traded. He requested, but he's still playing and practicing. Looks like he's going to stay with the team, but we will see. I want to talk about the Jets for a little bit. So they cut Chris Streveler and they put him on the practice squad. I don't know what else that man could have done to get a roster spot, because he played so much better than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's old and he's not very good anymore. Why is he still there other than a veteran presence? Like, if you're going to play somebody, play the guy who has a chance of winning you a game instead of just being there as a veteran.
Yeah.
And as Broncos fans, we know he wasn't even a good veteran. Like, he didn't try to help anybody. He's just there for himself, really. At least that's what it looked like, and that's what he sounded like. So why are you not having Chris Streveler there, who played much better than him and has some potential? I don't know. I don't know what else that man could have done to earn a roster spot. Because of him.
Yeah. I need to watch him play, because I didn't really, to be honest, even watch him. I don't think. I feel like I've heard that he was exciting, but I don't think I watched a single play of his. Will Greer was exciting for the Cowboys against the Seahawks in a preseason game, but he got cut. And Cooper Rush got cut. But yeah, I need to watch Streveler though.
Yeah, it was he's an athletic quarterback. He was very a lot. but he threw like game-winning touchdowns in every single game, like
Oh, really?
late in the fourth quarter. Yeah. uh, so I don't know. I know. Obviously, like teams think different than players.
Yeah.
Like Drew Lock lost his starting job to Geno Smith, and obviously, like we're a little biased because we like Drew Lock, but the football sense in me is like we'll start Drew Lock because even if he sucks, you're gonna get a bad pick, and then boom, you have C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or whoever, and you're on a fast track for a rebuild. But instead, they're choosing the mediocre guy. But obviously, coaches and GM, we want to win. We're gonna choose a guy with not maybe in our minds a more logical person. Is like, oh, suck for a year, fine, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, like they want to keep their job because if
Yeah,
if Drew Lock starts and he sucks and the Seahawks go 3-14, I mean, Pete Carroll's like fired. But
Pete
if
Carroll's
Geno-
gone. Pete Carroll's gone. John Schneider's gone. Everyone's gone.
Yeah. But if Geno starts and you go 7-10, it's like, oh, hold on, it's Geno Smith. He's not that good. Give me another year with a better quarterback.
The
So
Broncos formula
yeah,
over the
exactly.
last 5 years. That's why I'm suggesting this because maybe we have a better quarterback. Maybe. No.
Mhm.
If you know the quarterback sucks, start the worst one. Be bad.
Yeah.
But of course, GMs and coaches and actual football personnel, they can't think like that.
Right.
They can't just like play with their job security
Yeah.
that much.
Right.
What else? What else has happened in the NFL
Mm,
world?
I don't think
I think that might be it
else. Yeah.
for
Damian Pierce got the starting running back job, fantasy football favorite now.
I was going to pick him up, but I think someone got him in my league, and I'm very disappointed.
I definitely need to pick him up. My draft's the 4th, I think. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it though.
Yeah, I think for okay, finally Jesus. Yeah, I think that's it for NFL. Do you want to talk NBA a little bit, like just a
um
couple of things that have happened, or do you want to
I
end it
think
off?
I think more I think I'm all right with NFL. I feel like this is a good kind of Broncos episode.
All right, we'll leave it at Broncos. Yeah, I don't know when we'll talk about basketball stuff because this is like the lull season of basketball.
Yeah.
There is international stuff going on, which I've done my best to watch, but the timings are so odd.
Mhm.
But if anything major happens, we will talk about it. If any trade goes down, but it looks like none of them are going to happen.
Yeah.
But if they do happen, we'll talk about it.
It's bothering me. All right. Well,